Hey Pookies! So I demanded y'all to expose yourselves and submit any stories and confessions or whatever. I'm done with exposing myself for now. Why not just get y'all to expose yourselves? Because I know y'all have some stories to tell and I will be giving y'all my advice, my very much professional advice. Okay, so I've liked this guy for 3 years now, and when I tell you I love this man, the only problem is I haven't talked to him. Help. Anyways, so it's a very severe hallway crush, and it's very concerning because I've never liked anyone how much I like him. He's so beautiful. So a year ago I decided I was gonna add him on Snap, so I added him and we talked a lot, and then I asked him why he wasn't going to school that much anymore, and he left me undelivered. I'm still undelivered to this day. I think he unadded me too. I don't know if he figured out who I was or what, cause that's just crazy. But he's graduating soon and I still haven't talked to him, and I want to, but I don't know how. But I see him everywhere in school, like in the halls. We don't have a class together and we have a big school. I have a lot more stories about interactions, never talked, that make me actually want to dig a hole and die. Anyways, I love him, but I don't know what to do. Please help, Angelica. So I diagnosed you with Delulu syndrome because what is this? So you're telling me a man can't even give you 1 second of attention by reading your message? He doesn't even leave you unseen, he leaves you undelivered. You're swooning over what? Girl, do you love him or do you love the idea of him? I've been through this. It's time to get over that because we do not settle for a man that doesn't even look our way. You deserve someone who replies to your messages and not only does that, but goes out of their way to get your attention, because your time is valuable. You can't just hand it over to someone who doesn't want it. Okay, if they don't want it, move on. He's graduating soon? Okay, bye. Just remember this. There are billions of people in this world. The one for you is not gonna leave you undelivered. Don't settle for less, babes, don't. When I was in 8th grade, I had this English teacher and she was interesting. She was nice, but like also not. She had her targets, meaning like the people she low-key made fun of. She also never stood up in front of the class and just sat at her desk all day. She was older though. Anyways, I was in an honors class for her, and one day my classmate had put his head down for just a moment and she slapped a thick book right where his head was, except he had quickly moved his head, and she called him a name that I don't remember, but it was something about his height, I think. Can't you like get fired for that? I don't know. She also had this bell that she would just ring and ring and ring. Like people said they could hear the bell from the 1st floor. Her classroom was on the 3rd floor. All of her classes hated her, especially her 6th period. This class had all the boys that didn't really care about school and stuff. One of these boys was Asian and he was just not listening to her. Finally, she had enough and said a racist thing about him, about his eyes. He was embarrassed and mad at her. So what did he do? He filmed her in class and showed the video to his dad, who showed the whole school, and she got fired. That year we went through so many substitutes until we got a long-term one. We also threw that bell down the 3rd floor. Is your school okay? It's good that she got fired because clearly that was an unsafe teacher. Like, teachers are supposed to be supporting you through your learning journey, not saying such unprofessional things. That's not okay. Treat each other with love. We don't need more hatred and unkindness in this world. Love your neighbor as yourself. How do I get a girlfriend? I would say don't focus too much on getting a girlfriend. I know it's easier said than done, but like, when you truly decenter, look at me, decenter. Once you realize how much there is to life outside of relationships, you have the fire inside you to want to be a better person, to want to be the best version of yourself. You have this curiosity to become, you know, who God called you to be. So when you're striving to be the best version of yourself, you will naturally just attract people who are on that same journey with you. There's no step-by-step guide on how to get a girlfriend. Like, love will find you when it finds you. Be the best person you can be the best partner you can be the best friend you can be. We all have a tendency to search for validation in different things. Like, for example, a significant other. Like, oh, if I get a significant other, then all my problems will be solved. No, I'm sorry to break it to you. You know who can solve those problems? Jesus Christ. Once you stop searching for things that this world can offer, you'll realize that everything here is just temporary. You know who's eternal? Jesus Christ. Like, if your heart is searching, Jesus is waiting. He loves you unconditionally, and you can come to him as you are. He wants you to be the best version of yourself. Literally this year, I was 18 when I was playing STB. What is STB? An online friend invited me to another game, so I joined him. Then this friend of his joined, but my online friend left, so it was just the two of us. He's 14 and I was 18. Police! Our birthdays were coming soon this year. After talking for a while, he wanted my Discord username, so I gave it to him. Ever since we started talking, he was so sweet and funny and would always tell me how much he enjoys talking to me. He would keep me up late at night because of our time difference, and I didn't mind at all. He would call me and send me videos of his cats and school life. He would also tease about my 5-foot height and even call me sweet names like Pookie and stuffed animal. He started dating other girls and would come to me for advice, but in the end, those relationships would never work out. Our friendship began with how he would see me as a mom or an older sister. Now he would tell me about his problems and I understand 100%, and I was the only person who would always make him happy. He straight up would be flirty / freaky with me, and I thought that's just him being silly, but he was being serious. I was nervous because the age gap was new for me. He was so sweet to comfort me when I was having problems with my family. Long story short, we started dating. He calls me baby and constantly tells me how much he loves me. He suddenly stopped talking to me. It's been 3 months now since I last heard of him. I let go of him because the pain was too bare for me to take. 911? The way you're a legal adult and he's barely out of middle school. Oh! I think it's for the better that you guys stop talking. Last summer I snuck out super often and my parents never found out. If they do, I'm absolutely screwed and I still feel so guilty about it. It was normally with this one friend who was a terrible influence. Of course, we aren't friends anymore, and my parents always disliked her. So if they found out and told her parents, she would hate me even more. At least you aren't friends with that person who is a bad influence, because bad company corrupts good character. So I don't know if you still sneak out, but if your parents don't know that you're out, what if you got hit by a car? What if some creepy person did something really bad to you and life-changing to you and held you in a really unsafe situation? It's better to be safe than to be sorry. Apparently a lot of boys at my school have said they had a crush on me. I hate all of them. It sounds like you're a baddie, and it sounds like you have your priorities straight. Stay focused, keep your eyes on your goals, and whoever gets the privilege to have your heart, they're one lucky person. Should I stop liking my interests and like what my classmates like so I can get more friends? Hi, I'm like a person below 15 and I still have no friends. In the past, I've only had 2 or 3 conversations with my classmates. Based on my observations, we do not have any interests that align with each other, and we also have our own preferences. They're comfortable speaking Malay, while I'm more comfortable speaking English, so it makes it kind of hard to socialize with them. I think I'm too geeky and ugly for them. I don't like smiling, since my smile is pretty ugly if you ask me. I also don't understand social cues. That's all. I hope you can give any advice that is suitable for me and people that are in my position. What I think you should do is I think you should explore more interests, because maybe these people have certain interests that you haven't tried out before, but you know, if you try it, you'd actually enjoy it. But what you shouldn't do is abandon your own interests just to fit in with other people, because you'll just be unhappy. Be authentic to you. Be open-minded to trying new things, but do not abandon yourself.
I also want to suggest that you should have more conversations with people, because the first 2 or 3 conversations, it might be a little awkward because you're not comfortable with these people, but maybe the more conversations you have, the more time you spend with these people, the more you'll start to see eye to eye. What I was saying before about exploring interests, like, by all means, have fun, explore, but I don't think that should be your main priority. I think you should instead prioritize getting to know the other people. And if not, if you guys actually do end up being super different, that's okay, at least you tried.
You also said you think you're too geeky and ugly for them. You think that, but do they think that? What if they actually do want to be friends with you? I don't know your situation, but maybe you closed yourself off because you assumed their perception of you. Did they shut you away because you were geeky and ugly? I really doubt that. Honestly, in my opinion, every smile is beautiful because it shows that you're joyful. It shows that you are expressing happy emotions.
Oh, you think my smile is beautiful? Thank you.
Continue smiling. Continue being yourself and exploring different interests. Maybe you won't fit in with those certain people, but you will eventually find people that you will fit in with. So don't give up. Okay, so in around 2019, I downloaded an off-brand TikTok, Likey, and I started chatting with like old men, and I ended up being like IP found. So never again. Yeah, I also downloaded Likey. It was also during that time too, so maybe one of those old men was me.
I figured to slow down, I got used to living fast. I love the gang, gon' granny, I get them towards my rest.
Put a red heart if you think I'm cute, put a yellow heart if you think I'm fine, and put
a blue heart if you think I'm ugly.
Lately, I've been feeling like I'm not really good at making decisions or friends. By the way, I'm in my 20s. Most of my former friends have already gone to college or have moved to a different state/country. So I'm just starting my career in retail. I'm dreading the next week of work. Just know you're not alone. Majority of the people out there feel like that. I'm still in high school, so I haven't, gone through this era of life. But those friends who are in college, those friends who move to a different state, they probably also feel the same. People just have different pathways. People make different decisions. Certain decisions lead to different results. God has such a great plan and purpose for your life. If you're willing to step into that calling, you're gonna be blessed so much because He wants the best for us. He wants the best for every one of His children. In 7th grade, I really liked this boy. I started talking to him and we ended up talking to each other all the time, every day. It was so cute. He'd tell me kind of nerdy stuff about the wars and history he was interested in, and I'd rant to him about books I'd like. He even got me a book from the book fair. We didn't date or anything like that, but everyone knew we liked each other, even the teachers. I think it's because we started talking more and he wanted to be with me all the time. Honestly, it was very endearing to me at first because I've never had much romantic attention before that. However, dragon fruit just didn't stop, and it got to the point where it intervened with my friendships. I ignored that and kept on hanging out with them. At some point, we confessed to each other, and ever since then, he did not stop telling me how beautiful I was. Again, I've never received attention like that before, so I subconsciously told myself he was just being nice the whole time. However, I think he liked me only for my looks. Whenever I'd say something like, "Oh, I really want to focus on extracurriculars," he'd respond with, "That don't matter. You're just so pretty." Which honestly I took as a compliment, but it started happening every single time I spoke, and I slowly started feeling a little bit suffocated. Every time he'd invade my personal space, I'd inch away and he got even more closer. Anyway, I know I'm ranting and I'm really sorry. I'm just surprised at how stupid this seems from an outside perspective. I've never told anyone. I feel so special. I'm the first person you told. What? After that, I met his ex, let's call her Heart, and she is the definition of a girl's girl. She warned me about him and how it started off sweet for her as well, but then this guy, he literally paid his driver to follow her to her house. He took a picture of it and then printed it. I asked him about that and he said it was just to impress her. I was 12, so I was a bit intimidated and kind of started distancing myself. Anyway, I'm glad he ended up hating me for whatever reason because I didn't really want a picture of my house in his bedroom. Real! I ended up becoming friends with Heart, yay, and don't talk to him anymore. So I've just been holding this in and I wanted to rant. P.S. I really love your videos and you're a huge inspiration to me. Thank you for making our lives better and I hope it comes back to you. Ooh. For everyone who submitted these confessions, the fact that you sat down and wrote all of this and wrote your heart to me, I feel so honored. You dodged a bullet. I'm glad that your red flag detector went off. Good on you for joining Heart's side and not Dragonfruit's side because it is giving stalker. It seems like you're wise. It seems like you pretty much know what you're doing. Keep making good decisions. Thank you. So in middle school, I wanted confidence. So I decided to compliment a random guy. I don't know, I think he was in 9th or 10th and I was in 7th. I just thought maybe it would make his day, so I complimented him and he offered a hug. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to make him sad, so I said yes. Long story short, that hug was uncomfy, bro. I hope bro needed that hug, but like, maybe it's my fault for being a pushover, but like, afterwards I sprinted. I was so embarrassed. Afterwards, he tried waving to me, but I was too afraid. I was horrified. It seems like you have such a sweet heart, and I want you to continue spreading kindness because maybe he did need that hug and he did need that compliment. Continue making people's day because that's something we need in this world more. So I applaud you for that.
But also be careful, girl. Do not put yourself in an unsafe and uncomfortable situation. If you're feeling like you're in danger, it is not rude to reject someone. Your safety is what matters.
Advice. What are some fun outings or fun things you do? Because I'm 13 and I want to get more out there. I want to make friends and just be open. Also, do you have time advice for Christians? Join clubs, if there are clubs. Find people that match your energy, and then go out of your way to cultivate those friendships with people who match your vibe. For me, it's not that hard to make me happy because my happiness is found in Christ. It's mainly the mindset that makes things fun. If you go to church, there might be like youth events, so I recommend going to those. Take opportunities, like if there are school events or community events, go out to those. You never know who you'll meet. For example, with me, when I joined my leadership club at school, that's where I formed basically my entire friend group, and we're still friends to this day, and it's been 2 years, so put yourself out there. This person is telling me not to read something. I'm not going to. Okay, I'm not. I left a permanent scar on my brother's face. So to cut a long story short, I was laying down on a couch and my big toe scraped between my brother's eyebrows. We were sharing the couch. It will never heal and he always uses it against me. Well, it's between his eyebrows, right? So he could technically be like, oh, I'm basically Harry Potter. I think I ate a person and now I have rabies. What do? Hi girly, so what I wanted to share a thought, which is actually taking a lot of space in my mind. So us Christians, especially me, is struggling to find a guy who is in Christ and is God-fearing. But in this generation, I think that it's so hard because whoever I meet is not of my religion, meaning we don't share the same faith. But there's this guy who claims that he wants to convert in my faith, but his action does not seem like he wants to. So I just want an advice that what would you do if you were in my place? To be honest, it's so hard to find true love in this generation. Will I ever find the one? Anyways, thank you for reading this. By the way, I love your vids. Keep going. I love you so much. That's a very common concern. Don't worry too much about it. Put your trust in God. Surrender your worries. Surrender your relationships to God because He is the one who ultimately has a hand in your relationships, in your life. So when you give those up to Him, you're not the one who has to be searching. God gets to pick and choose who is meant to be in your life. If you trust in God, if you trust in His timing, you don't even have to worry because you know that He has someone out there for you. Now it's on you to continue pursuing God daily, constantly praying to Him, reading the Word, gaining insight, growing in Christ. Because when He decides that you're ready for a relationship, He will make it very obvious for you. He will make it very clear. And the man of God that God has for you, He is not going to make you question. You will be confident in Him and in God. Put God first. He wants the best for you. He knows the desires of your heart. Be patient. Do not awaken love when it's not time. Because trust me, I've made certain decisions in the past. I've rushed into things in the past. And then it all came crumbling down because I wasn't patient on the Lord. And my mind wasn't fully focused on the Lord. Continue being in community. Okay, it's really important that you have other believers that are spurring you on. Seek advice from more experienced Christians. You're not alone in this. God sees you. He hears you. He wants to bless you with a relationship that will glorify Him. So I'm here to support you. Jesus loves you so much. One time I put fake love notes in people's desk like 3 years ago. I didn't like the person, but I wanted them to think someone liked them. And I did it with my friends. What we did was we wrote it in bad handwriting so he wouldn't think it was us. Then I snuck it in his desk after a day. And he told all his friends about the note. And there was one girl in our class who had bad handwriting, so the guy assumed she wrote it, even though I did it. It was a dumb prank before, but it was low-key fun to do. That's so mean. Do it again. That's actually really funny. I feel bad for that guy because you're getting his hopes up. Maybe it will be a good boost for his confidence. It doesn't seem that harmful to me. In middle school, I peed myself in gym class and I had to use water to cover it up. And then one of the coaches looked at it and asked the whole class who spilled water. Worst part is we had to do multiple physical activities with my wet pants and I slipped on my pee and bumped my head. I wish you the best. I hope your bladder's okay.
I just switched to a new school and there's this boy I like, but we've only talked like once or twice because he doesn't really know me that well. How do I get him to notice me if he never talks to me or even looks at me? How do you get him to notice you? Exist. Be yourself. The right person will notice you in a crowd of 100 million people. Like, he's just a guy. He's just a guy. Don't bend over backwards to get him to notice you, please. Please don't. Save your sanity. So I'm sitting next to a boy in math, and every time in class, he just keeps his hand on my leg. And whenever I try to stop him, he puts it back. And he talks to me 24/7 though. So clearly you are trying to set boundaries, and clearly he's overstepping these boundaries. So that's not okay. I'd avoid him. That's a red flag. Hi. Okay, so I need tips on how to get the motivation to start scrapbooking or journaling because I have so many ideas, but I have no motivation to do them. Please help me, Angelica. I beg you. By the way, I'm a big fan. I love you. Mwah. So I did have my scrapbooking era. I put in a lot, but it does take a long time. I lost motivation too. There shouldn't be like a structured time. Whatever you're feeling like doing it, just do it. Set aside time, like on a weekend where you're free. Dropped my dad's toothbrush in the toilet. Didn't clean it afterwards and probably had some pee on it. Justice for this person's dad. You didn't clean it and you didn't tell him. That's menace behavior. You belong in jail. I've accidentally liked my poop before. It was nasty, but the smell called to me. Ew. There's the door right there. Please exit. Go to the bathroom if that's what brings you joy. That's all I'm gonna read for now. Thank you everyone for submitting your little stories. This was actually very entertaining. Thank you for watching. Stay happy, stay motivated, keep shining, and God bless you.